I am so happy you're here with me today. Today, we're going to do some doodle drawing. So, I recently was watching an artist that I like, and she went all out just having fun making doodles. And I think that that's really, really important to show you guys that creating doodles in a practice setting is so helpful for you to get to where you want to be drawing things from memory. So what happens is when we draw things again and again and again, we train our brain to remember how to draw them. I'm sure you know this and you've done this. So today we are just going to have fun and doodle some different things that I think will stick in your brain, and you'll be able to draw them from memory whenever you want. Let's start with a circle. We're going to doodle some flowers, okay? So pick whatever color you want. I'm using crayons today. And I'm going to make a big loopy oval, but I'm not ending the oval. I'm bumping back into my circle to stop it. And do you notice how I am positioning them? I went top, bottom, left, and right. And then I can squeeze in those extras using the edge of what I've got. Ooh, that one's gonna be big to fit. That's okay, they can be a little bit different. All flowers are. Okay, that's one of our doodle flowers. How easy is that? All we're doing is putting together our lines to make our shapes, and then our shapes are becoming our objects. So what I like to do sometimes is draw a dark, when I say dark, I just mean the heaviest pressure with the color you're using, and that's going to give that darkest color of that crayon that you can get. If you lighten your pressure, it can give you a whole nother look. So if I make a dark outline with my crayon, it looks pretty cool. And then I can go in and color a little bit lighter. And I like that. So my coloring, I always talk about our super solid and neat coloring. Can you kind of see how if I slow down my hand really slow, my crayon is almost gonna go in circular motions. Sometimes when you do that, especially when you're coloring in something that has that shape already, we drew our petals like ovals. So doesn't it make sense to sort of make that shape when you're trying to color something in, or follow that original line? Like if it were a square or something, we would pick a direction, either horizontal or vertical, and color it in like that. Now we're almost done with that. And I think I might add just a little tiny accent with my orange and just make some fun little lines from that center circle up into those petal shapes. Now, since I'm doing that with this color, I think I'll just color this center spot, and I'm gonna go around a little bit darker on the outside and lighten my pressure and leave just a little white highlight spot. Okay, now I'm gonna pick a green, and I might even give a little loop-de-loo on my stem because I can, because it's my art and I can do what I want. And these are doodles, remember? We're just practicing and we are drawing whatever we want. I'm gonna give a little petal on that side since I have a loop-de-loo on that side. And again, I went dark with my outline, my drawing, outer shape. And then inside, when I color light, it's almost like a second color, but it's the same color. Crayons are magical like that, you guys, they're magical. Now, how about a little character? I think I want a little fun blue bunny. I have so many blues, it's hard to choose. Sometimes it's better to just pick a couple of different crayons and that's it. So then you don't have so many choices to make. Okay, let's do this. This is gonna be a fun, like cartoony bunny. It's not a realistic bunny. I'm gonna start with my big ovally ears, really similar to the flower petals we just drew. A little center horizontal line, and I'm gonna try my best to match what I've just done. Size and shape and direction of that ear. Now my bunny's face, I'm gonna curve a little line, sort of like those parentheses we use when we're writing. A little curved line. And I'm gonna come in just a little bit the opposite way that I just did there. So these go out in a curve. And I think his little front paws, let's just do some little tiny rounded rectangle-y shapes. And I'm gonna give my bunny a little bit of a rounded middle. And I'm working on each side and side. So then, because this little character is symmetrical, it's gonna be the same on both sides. I just automatically do that sometimes. And it's helpful because you're getting the same thing happening on both sides and it matches. So now let's do this. Let's make a tiny little line in the center of this area. And when I say a rounded square or rectangle, I just don't want those corners. So I'm just coming down and just sort of rounding out what would be a corner. So it's just a little softer. And maybe add my little details for those paws and feet. Oh, what about a little poofy tail? And let's go up to his face. Okay, so if it's like a little cutie character, the eyes can be really wide apart and the nose is really in line almost with those eyes. So everything stays pretty small to be a cutie. And maybe some little whiskers coming off. And, oh, let's do the ear, inner ear spot. And do we want a little belly circle? Let's try it. Super light. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Now, you can color in your bunny whatever you want. I think my bunny might be pink and blue. And remember, you can use your crayons, dark and light. So if I have, oh, I forgot little eyelashes, you guys. My little bunny's gonna have eyelashes. So then I think I might want a pink body, and his little belly spot's gonna be really, really light. So there's a difference in my outline, blue, and then this colored in. And remember, see how I'm coloring kind of in circles? Super, super light. And that doesn't give us those terrible, awful crayon lines that happen when we scribble and color in all crazy directions. We don't want that to happen. We want to color solid, super solid, super, super solid, and neat. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm just going up, 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 right next to it. My color, and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now sometimes when you hit another color, it sort of smears that other color, so I'm gonna be super careful around my bunny's blue eyes and try not to hit that blue crayon so it doesn't streak. But remember, this is just a fun little doodle, so if it does, it does. It's okay. All right. He's fun too. Okay. Love it. Now I am thinking of a little friend to go with Bunny. How about a little fun frog friend? This guy's really fun. Okay, he's gonna have, we're gonna do 2 circles kind of together up at the top. And then kind of like a wide ovally circle. And I've run out of room. But my little toady toad friend might be, I went a little too far down, you guys. That's okay. We're gonna go up for that leg, curve it back in, and it's just gonna go off the page. Sort of like a question mark. Huh. Now let's do that on the other side. I'm gonna air draw so it matches, like our symmetry, and bring it back in towards the body like that. Maybe I could squeeze it right there on the edge. I made it happen. All right, now let's do a circle inside there, and that's gonna be his eyeball. He's gonna be looking up at his little bunny friend up here. And we're gonna leave that little tiny spot. Actually, we'll leave that big white area. So you guys, the more you practice drawing things, the more your brain is going to remember. Think about if you have a younger brother or sister, and like pre-K or kindergarten age, and they're learning their letters. Or think back to when you learned your letters, the letters of the alphabet. When you're writing those, you are practicing them again and again and again and again. And what's a letter? What's a letter? A diagonal line, a diagonal line, horizontal line, vertical, curve, diagonal, vertical, horizontal. Ugh. All of our lines. That's all any letter is. So your brain is remembering the formation of each letter, and by the time you are a couple months into kindergarten, your brain knows them. It's memorized them. So it's the same exact thing when you go to draw little creatures and characters and images. Your brain is going to remember how to draw these things the more you do it. So you've just got to practice. That's all it takes. You just have to do them again and again, and your brain remembers. We call that visual vocabulary. So instead of a word, like you would remember vocabulary words in school, these are visual vocabulary objects that you can pull out of your memory and draw them. So I promise, the more you practice, the easier it is. And then you're going to be that kid at school that's going to just draw like crazy, and everybody's going to say, "Ah, how do you draw so good? You're such an awesome artist." And you're just going to know, I just have to practice. I just have to make my brain remember what lines go where with what shapes, and oops. And you'll know it. So I've drawn these frogs friends and my bunny friend several times. Do I want to add little eyelashes to my froggy? Also, our brain as artists. So sometimes when I'm talking, I'll slow down and I stop talking. I'm not sure if that's obvious or not, but my brain is doing something while I'm talking. It's drawing, and it's sometimes really hard to think about those two things going on at the same time. So your brain's like, what color are you using? And then words are trying to come out, and it just is kind of a wreck sometimes. So it's best if you're not talking, and then your brain can really think of all the things it needs to think about while you're drawing. Okay, so I have a fun little frog and a fun little bunny. Let's do one of those cone flowers. Those are really fun to do. Let's get yellow. It's gonna have to squeeze right here, okay? I'm gonna do a little horizontal line and an arc, like a rainbow arc. Color that in. I'm gonna leave a little white spot. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but that's my little highlight. Then I think I'm gonna switch to an orange. And I'm gonna make the same sort of petals like that. They're gonna come out and then back to my cone shape. I'm gonna go on one side and then the other. And on one side and the other. And I'm gonna end up with a super symmetrical cone shape. Then let's make a couple of curves between each of those, and it's gonna look really cool, like it's all doubled up in petals. Okay, and the same thing, I'm gonna just add a few little fun lines like details and use that pressure of my crayon to get different colors, different values I should say, so that I have a dark and a light. And we have just doodled away. How long has that been? You guys, it's been almost 20 minutes. If you could do this every day and pick something that you love to draw, then you can sort of test yourself. And if you can draw it from memory, you're good to go. You can move on to something new. And how many things could you learn to draw from memory? So many, so many. That would be amazing. So let's do it. Just 15 to 20 minutes every day. Practice, practice, practice. So it doesn't mean just do that once and you're done. That means keep practicing, keep drawing it. Keep drawing it in different ways, in different colors, in different directions. Okay, you can do whatever doodles you want. And just keep going. There's even something as simple as different shapes of a heart. If you draw your heart one way, and then what if you drew it really long? And what if you drew it really, really wide? Then you could fill them in with all different patterns. Maybe you have some polka dot hearts. Maybe you have some stripe hearts. What's something else you could do? Patterns are really good and fun to practice because there are so many different patterns you can do, and it really brings your little objects so much fun and character. So I know you guys are going to be so busy building your visual vocabulary, and you're going to know how to draw so many different things. Just start simple at first. Start with something you love. Maybe it's little kitty cats. Maybe there are sharks. Maybe you want to do robots or dinosaurs. Start slow. Find something to look at that shows you the shape of your drawing. You can follow along to my YouTubes, and you can do all sorts of different, see, there was my brain going again, trying to think and talk at the same time. I was trying to think what I wanted to do in here. So you can find your image and you can practice, practice, practice again and again and again. And then your brain will know how to do it without looking at anything. All right, I hope you guys had fun. Doodling, doodling. These are our, we'll call these daily doodles. Okay, and don't forget, you can like and subscribe and come back and visit me anytime to draw. Uh-oh. I hope I had that in there. If not, there it is, you guys. There's the bottom of the froggy if I missed it. Okay. All right, now go be creative.